So you want to take the next step in your math career, do ya? Well, let me be the first to tell you, welcome to calculus. You're ready to leave the nest of pre-calculus and ascend into calculus and spread your wings and fly. I mean, unless you're going to take another class besides calculus, but yeah, that's still cool. This video will give you the rundown on what calculus even is, what you can expect from the year, the struggles, the common struggles at least, and my own advice to you. First, I think it's safe to tell you what you even signed up for. To put it in the simplest terms I can, calculus is the mathematics that has to deal with change. You remember those problems where the car is going a certain constant speed and after a certain amount of hours they ask you how far it goes? Like a car is going 20 miles per hour for 3 hours and then they ask you how far the car has traveled? Yeah, this problem's unrealistic and you're never really going to use it in real life. Well, I mean, besides, unless guess if you're a race car driver or something, but other than that, I don't really think you're going to be able to use this. Now let's take that same example and say that the car is speeding up and slowing down because of traffic. These are the kinds of problems that calculus deals with. They're more realistic than your typical multiplication problem. Now, when taking calculus, there are 3 concepts that you will spend most of your time on memorizing and practicing and so on and so forth. These are limits, derivatives, and integrals. Now, before moving on, remember that these are very simplified versions of the actual concepts themselves, and in no way, shape, or form am I teaching you the actual concept. Limits are used to precisely show how a function approaches a value. These problems can be as simple as plugging in an x value and getting a y value out of it, or as complex as finding the theoretical y value of the x value of a function. Derivatives are the description of how a function changes. If you want to use different vocabulary, I guess you could say that they're the slope of a function. However, instead of finding the slope at one single point, it would find the slope of every single x value of the graph. And finally, integrals are the area under the curve of a function. These are the most complicated problems, well, at least in my opinion, that you'll ever get in calculus, and you should really study these, really hard. Using these tools, you could solve a wider variety of problems that you could not have been able to solve before. A cool example of using calculus is, which I just read about this just now, is you will be able to find an optimal viewing angle for a movie theater. Although I'm pretty sure you're not going to go into the movie theater and say, oh yeah, let's find the most optimal value. I mean, it's pretty fun to think about it. Now with that out of the way, let me tell you of how your year of calculus will mostly consist of based on my knowledge of the class. Now, your first semester, you'll learn all the material, and you'll do it really fast. And this is probably one of the most stressful years you'll ever have in your life. Normally, the material is evenly divided between the first and second semester, but nope, not this class. You're going to try to learn everything in the first semester, and it's going to be completely uneven. But this is because in the second semester, you'll end up practicing and sharpening your skills for the exam. I'm not here to scare you, but from what I remember, in the first semester, topics just keep coming one by one, and you won't stop until you feel like you want to jump out of a window or something like, ah! Well, this semester is really freaking hard. It is really rewarding. That's because every single month you'll attend a UCLA session in which you'll learn a concept from a more, I don't want to say certified or anything, but I guess a teacher. You'll teach it to the class when you come back on Monday. Well, that Monday, and you only get to teach one topic, but you get to learn 2, so go nuts. I say it's rewarding because more often than not, you'll already know the concepts when you get to that session. So you'll just be there I already know this, in your face, nerds. And speaking of sessions, along with your UCLA sessions, you'll have 2 days out of the week. Well, you'll stay after school with your class for about an hour and doing the homework as a group. Think of it as time to learn how you synergize with your fellow classmates, and you guys can bond as a family. That's something we definitely did. And now second semester is a time where you'll sharpen your calculus skills and just get flooded with multiple choice questions and free response questions. While in first semester you get overwhelmed with new topics and you have to keep learning new stuff consistently, and it does get really tiring. Second semester you'll get flooded with the multiple choice and the free response, but it isn't really that bad because you already know all the concepts and you're just being oh, okay, I need to remember this for the exam, I need to remember this for the exam, so on and so forth. I think the way I'm saying it is very negative, oh yeah, you'll just get a bunch of free response questions and it's really annoying. But no, you kind of develop this sixth sense or some sort when it comes to free response questions. It's kind of crazy. At the end, you'll be able to look at a problem and be, oh yeah, you have to do it like this, and you already know the numbers you need and all that stuff. Just know that all this will prepare you for the exam, and at the point you'll be ready to take the exam and head on, and you'll pass for sure. Now time for the struggles. I mentioned some of the struggles while talking about the rundown of the semester, but I want to put all of them here because it is really important to know all the challenges you'll face in class, and I'll also give you advice with each of the following struggles. First, the workload. You will get overwhelmed with work at some point, but it helps you develop more discipline, which will cause you to have a more strict mentality when it comes to work. With this, I recommend doing your calculus work first before anything else when you're doing your homework, because honestly, doing it at school or something, it really won't benefit you at all. Second of all, which I'm kind of a little scared to talk about, is the teacher. While I've had my fair share of getting destroyed by Ms. Luterio, they have each been a learning experience that I took throughout my calculus journey. I think the best way to handle it is that remember that Luterio isn't there to critique you 24/7 and hurt your feelings. It's kind of the last thing she wants to happen, but she's there to help you get through calculus and get you through the right path in a way that it sticks with you. It sticks with you. Just don't take her comments as hurtful and take her as tips to not fall into the same trap again. Sometimes it's that little push we need that will get us to get rid of that old habit. Mine was not putting something at the end of an integral or a derivative, and I would normally get destroyed by that, and after a certain point, I just got rid of it. So just know that it really does help you. And I think the final struggle you'll face with, well, from what I can tell, is the frustration. This frustration will mainly come from not knowing what to do, and it's always a problem in math class. Like I think with every single level we've had that happen to us before. When it came to me dealing with a problem that was really difficult for me, I didn't go for help because I thought it was easy and I'm just getting something really basic wrong. I mean, it's calculus. Literally everything you know beforehand, you'll think it's like baby stuff. And if you get one little thing wrong, your entire self-esteem will crash and burn. But you need to know to get rid of the habit of thinking, oh, I'm just dumb, because you're really not. You're taking calculus. It's a really hard class. You need all the help you can get if you need it. However, if you're not one of the types of people to go around and ask for help, there are a lot of resources you can use that will help you better grasp the concept, I should say. I personally recommend Paul's online math notes because it's all in text and you could just read back to it, and there's like a bunch of examples and it's really cool, and the whole website is run by a professor, so you're learning in the way a college professor would teach, which I thought is pretty cool. You might think it's pretty cool. Yeah. But then again, you can also use things like the typical Khan Academy and YouTube videos, things like Purple Math, and many more other sources to get over that little bump in the road. I think that's everything I want to cover for an introduction. I want to wish you guys the best, and if you're taking calculus, just remember, it's not always easy. You're not going to be the type of student to be, oh yeah, look, I can get this so easily. Unless you're Osvaldo. But, yeah, just remember to pay attention in class. Like, even if you don't understand it, just still pay attention in class, because if you get called on, trust me, you will regret not paying attention. And do your work legitimately, because doing it online or something, or trying to look for it online and then ended up finding it and then doing it, it really doesn't help you. You didn't learn anything. Yeah, that's it. Good luck, guys. I think I forgot to mention all the fun times you'll have in this class. Like, trust me, this really isn't a class that you're just gonna have horrible times in. The people who are in your calculus class will be like the closest people you'll ever be with in that year. I think, like, I don't know, it was really fun for me personally to meet all like those people more, or I guess like, know them better. Also, with the concepts in calculus, you will learn different methods of solving problems. Like, you'll find more perspectives to see a problem through, and that's really good to have. And finally, it's a really fun class throughout all my struggles and stuff with that. And I think everyone else's struggles. Me personally, I did find the class really, really fun. So I really do recommend taking it. Class that I have faced by myself. The cars to you throughout what? Stick to you, what? You have to find the X value, why? Using all these tools, you can solve what's sieve? Using all these tools combined, it can help you solve and when you go to the monthly sessions, you'll oh my god. Speaking of sessions, along with the UCLA sessions, 2 days out of the week, you'll be. Yeah. It's not as bad as the first semester. Well, what? And I got completely destroyed by it. By what?